Hi guys, today we are going to be on page 139 in your math books. We are doing a review of equations. So go ahead and have that open. You need a pencil and probably a scratch piece of paper. And let's go ahead and get started. Sharing my screen with you. There we go. So we're on review of equations today. Remember we talked about equations. And when we have a letter inside of a number sentence, we're solving for that letter. And that letter is called a variable. So let's look at A. So there's not really an introduction today. What we're really doing is just solving. And I'm going to walk you step by step through it, and we're going to solve these together. So let's look at 1A. It says solve and check these equations. Well, I have 6y equals 23 plus 7. What do I need to do first in order to solve for y? If you said add 23 plus 7, you are 100% correct. So let's go ahead and add that. What is 23 plus 7? 30. So we're going to rewrite it. 6y equals 30. Now, remember on Friday when we talked about to solve for a variable, you want to do something called isolating the variable. You want to get the variable alone by itself. And in order to do that, you need to do opposite operations. So right now, 6y is next, or 6 is next to y, which means it is multiplying. What is the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. If you said dividing, excellent job. So in order to get y isolated, or y by itself, we need to divide by 6. And we're going to divide both sides of the equation by 6. Okay, so 6 divided by 6, that is 1. That cancels each other out. Anytime you have a number, let's say I had 14 over 14, that would cancel out, and that would be just 1. A number divided by itself is 1. Even 1 million divided by 1 million is the number 1. So it cancels each other out, or cancels itself out, and we get y equals, what's 30 divided by 6? 5. We get y equals 5. Now, we're not going to be complacent and stop there. What we want to do is plug it in to check to see if we get the right answer. And to do that, it says check these equations. So I'm going to do my check in a black pen, and I'm going to kind of go over to the left-hand side. You may need to do these on a scratch piece of paper. You may not have room on your paper, and that's totally fine. So what we're going to do is I'm going to plug 5 into the y. When I say plug it in, it means whatever answer you got for the variable, for the letter, we're going to plug it into the original equation. So I have 6 times 5 equals 23 plus 7. And my goal is to get both of the same number on both sides of the equation. It means that it is correct. So 6 times 5, we already discussed, was 30, equals 23 plus 7, which is 30. So we got it, we're good. Y equals 5 is our final answer. Now, if we got something that wasn't the same on both sides, then we would have to check it out, okay? Let's move on to B. I have n divided by 3 equals 15 divided by 5. First thing I need to do is to work this in old order. Just like with A, I had to do 23 plus 7 first. What do you think I have to do first, or we should do first on 15 divided by 3? I mean, n divided by 3 equals 15 divided by 5. We should do 15 divided by 5. It's like dividing, okay? We're going to get it all squared away so that it's easier to work this problem out. What is 15 divided by 3? 5. 15 divided by 5. It is 3. So I have n over 3, or n divided by 3 equals 3. Now, my goal is to get this n by itself. But right now it's being divided by 3. What's the opposite of dividing by 3? Multiplying by 3. So in order to isolate n, or get n by itself, I need to multiply both sides of the equation by 3. And I do it like this. Multiply both sides of the equation by 3. Now remember, when you multiply with fractions and you have a whole number like 3, you could put it over 1, okay? And you did 3's would cancel. N over 1 is n, Okay, so n equals 3 times 3, which is 9. Now we're going to plug it in to see if we get the right answer. Let's plug it in. I have some room up here at the top, and I'm going to work it there. So I'm going to plug 9 in for n. 9 over 3 equals 15 over 5. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. It works out. We are good to go. 9 or n equals 9. Let's keep moving. Letter C, x plus 9 equals 14 plus 11. What do you think we need to do first? Remember, we always have to ask ourselves, and even if I'm not working through this with you, ask yourself, what do I do first? What's the very first thing I need to do? And if you said add 11 plus 14 or 14 plus 11 first, you are 100% correct. So what is 11 plus 14? And listen, if you don't know it, come over here and just do this. No shame in that. Oh, it's 25. So let's rewrite our equation. X plus 9 equals 25. Okay, our goal is to get x by itself. In this case, our variable is an x. And that's why we kind of gotten away with multiplication and using an x, because a lot of times in algebra, they will use an x as your variable. So I have x plus 9 equals 25. And I'm adding a 9 to the x. What's the opposite of adding 9? Subtracting 9. Good. And I need to subtract 9 from both sides of the equation in order to make this work. So I'm going to subtract 9 from the 9. Now, guys, I want to show you something that I see some students do. They do this. Can you do x minus 9? No, but called putting like terms together. You can do 9 minus 9 because they are like terms, right? And 25 minus 9. So we're going to bring this down. I have x equals, what is 25 minus 9? Because minus 9 plus 9 cancel each other out. 25 minus 9 is 16. Are we done? Nope, we got to plug it in. Plug it in, plug it in. Okay, we're going to plug in this x equals 16 here. I'm going to work it out on the top. 16 plus 9 equals 14 plus 11. We already know 16 plus 9 is 25 equals, and 14 plus 11 is 25. It works out. So our answer is x equals 16. Now, some of you guys are thinking, why do we have to check? I will tell you that if you check, you are least likely to make a mistake if you check, okay? So checking is kind of like your safeguard. Checking is like, hey, I got this, I can do this, right? If you get the wrong answer, you just go back and try again. No big deal, okay? Letter D, I have h minus 5 equals 32 divided by 8. It's kind of like letter, where do we have, oh, letter B, where we had some division there, right? So letter D, I have h minus 5 equals 32 divided by 8. What do you think we're going to do first? The 32 divided by 8. Good. What is 32 divided by 8? 4, because 4 eighths is 32. Great. We're going to rewrite h minus 5 equals 4. Now, we have a minus next to our variable. We have our variable minus a 5. What's the opposite of subtracting 5? Adding 5. Good. So what we're going to do, oops, that's what we're working on. We're going to add 5 to both sides of the equation to make it isolated, to make our variable isolated. We're going to bring down our h. Minus 5 and plus 5 cancel each other out, and we get h equals, what's 4 plus 5? It is 9. So let's check it. Don't ever want to stop without checking it. Even if the directions don't say to check, it's a good rule of thumb to check, okay? Just so you're confident in your answer. So I'm going to plug this in. 9 minus 5 equals 32 divided by 8. 9 minus 5 is 4. 32 divided by 8, we already said, is 4. So we got this. Okay. Do me a favor. If these are confusing, go back and rewind and watch those 4 again. the best thing you can do is to redo them with me, or redo them on the video, because it will definitely increase your confidence with the equations. From now on, the rest of your math career, you're going to be using equations. So this might not be the first time you've seen them, but you definitely will not be the last time. And in fact, almost every single aspect of math, or every single kind of part of math, has equations in them. So if you're not getting them, don't worry, just take it step by step with me, okay? If you want to challenge yourself now, you can press pause and you can try E, F, G, and H, or you can work with me. It's up to you. Here we go. So first thing we have to do, I have x divided by 9 equals 2 plus 7. What am I going to do first? If you said 2 plus 7, excellent job. Our goal is to isolate the variable, in this case, which is x, but we have to make sure the other side of the equation is ready to go. And if you have a number plus another number, it's not ready to go yet, right? So rewrite the equation. X over 9 equals 9. Now, we need to solve for that x. And right now, the x is being divided by 9. What's the opposite of dividing? It is multiplying. So we're going to multiply both sides of our equation by 9 in order to isolate the variable of x, or to get it alone. Because our goal, just like we've been doing, is to get the variable alone by itself. Okay, let's move on. 9 times, another way, guys, let me show you this. Another way to say x over 9 is 1/9 times x. That's another way to say it, okay? And if I multiply that by 9, I get the number 1, and that gives me x by itself. So these cancel, okay? And I get x equals 9 times 9 is 81. But we're not done, because we're going to check. We're going to plug in 81 here and check. I have some room under here, so I'm going to do it on this. I have 81 divided by 9 equals 2 plus 7. What is 81 divided by 9? It is 9. And what is 2 plus 7? It is also 9. So great, we are ready to go. We got this. Okay. On to letter F. I have n minus 8 equals 6 times 3. Remember, we've moved on from the x and we're using our raised dot. And all year we've been using it. So now we're actually using it in the curriculum. So what do you think we do first? It's kind of following the same pattern that we've been doing. If you said 6 times 3, you're 100% correct. Let's do that. N, actually I'm going to use a different color. N minus 8 equals, what is 6 times 3? 18. Now, I have an n minus 8, and I have an n next to a subtracting of 8. What's the opposite of subtraction of 8? Addition of 8. Good, we're gonna isolate that variable by adding 8 to both sides of this equation. When I do that, I bring down my n. Minus 8 and plus 8 cancel each other out. N equals 26. Now I know I'm not done, because I'm going to check. I'm going to plug 26 into here. 26 minus 8 equals 6 times 3. Well, 26 minus 8 is 18, and 6 minus 3 is also 18, so we're good. It is n equals 26. Awesome, let's move on. Letter G is a little bit different. We actually don't have a first step. This is just a one-step problem, which is amazing, which is fun. So, not to say the other ones aren't fun, but these are more fun. So we have 4x equals 16. 4 next to an x means we're going to be doing what operation? We're going to multiply. So we're going to multiply 4 times x. But how do I isolate x? How do I get x alone by itself? What's the opposite of multiplying? It is dividing. So I'm going to divide by 4. Both sides of my equation. You could just do it just like that and write it right on there. This cancels. 4 divided by 4 cancels, and I'm left with x equals 16 divided by 4, which is 4. Now I can come and I can plug in my 4 for my x and see if I get the right answer. Let's see. 4 times 4 equals 16. What's 16 times, or what's 4 times 4? It is 16, so 16 equals 16. We did it, so x does equal 4. Okay, one more. Same thing, we only have one step in this one. So fun. What is my step? What do you think? Talk to the screen. What do you think? I have a y plus 7, and I want to get y by itself. So I'm going to do what? Minus 7 from both sides of the screen. You can see that yellow, right? I hope so. I think you can. So plus 7 minus 7, that cancels each other out. Y equals 9 minus 7, which is 2. Now let's plug it in and see if it works. I'm going to plug that 2 into y. 2 plus 7 equals 9. 9 equals 9. Woohoo, we did it. We are on a roll. Okay. Now, let's solve these story problems. Number 2, the area of a parallelogram. First thing I'm going to do, I heard the word parallelogram. I'm going to draw myself a parallelogram. Here's my parallelogram. Is 56 square feet. The base is 8 feet, and what's the height? Ooh, this is a little bit different than what we've been doing. So I already know that my area is 56 square feet. And actually, guys, I'm going to do the right thing here, and I'm going to go ahead and come down here and draw it. If you don't have a whole lot of room like we did not have there, you definitely should be writing that. Okay. Mrs. Rossini did not turn off her phone. What am I thinking? There we go. Okay. So I have a parallelogram. They said that I'm going to go back and look. The paper said that the area is 56 square feet and the base is 8 feet. So I know my area equals 56 square feet and my base is 8 feet. Okay, and we have to solve for height. Well, how in the world do we do that? Let's put in what we already know. First of all, what is the formula for the area of a parallelogram? Area equals base times height. Well, we already know area and we already know base, so let's plug those two things in and just solve for our height. Area is what? 56 feet. So I have 56 feet equals base, which is 8, times height, which we don't know. So we're going to use h as our variable. Now, I'm going to do something real quick though, because I don't want that feet there. I'm going to say 56. Now, here's my equation. You guys are used to seeing it not this way. You're used to seeing it with the variable on the left-hand side, which I prefer. So I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite it. 8h equals 56. I didn't change the problem. All I did was switch the sides of the equation, and you could totally do that to solve. Now, just like we've been doing, if I have 8h equals 56, and I have 8 next to an h, which means I'm going to multiply. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing to isolate h. So I'm going to divide both sides of the equation by 8, which I get h equals what? What times 8 is 56? Or 56 divided by 8 is 7. So my height is 7 feet. And that makes sense, right? 8 times 7 is 56. Area is 56. We are good to go. Okay, let's look back at our paper. So we have, one moment. Okay, sorry for that. Let's look at number 3. We have 3a, and 3a says to simplify. Remember, we're going to use Pemdas. Don't stress, right? Pemdas, don't stress, don't stress. I know you guys love that song. You love it as much as I do. I don't know. So we're going to use Pemdas, which means we're going to do order of operations, parentheses first, then exponents, then multiply and divide in the order they appear, then add or subtract in the order they appear. So letter A, I have 7 plus 3 times 4 divided by 6. What do you think we're going to do first? If you said 3 times 4, you are correct, because we want to do multiplying and dividing in the order they appear. There are no parentheses and there are no exponents. So we're going to do multiplying and the dividing in the order they appear. Well, in this case, the order they appear is multiplying first. So we have 7 plus 3 times 4 is 12 divided by 6. Now, are we going to do 7 plus 12 first, or are we going to do 12 divided by 6? If you said 12 divided by 6, you are 100% correct. So 7 plus 12 divided by 6 is 2. 7 plus 2 is 9, and our correct answer is 9. Let's move on. Letter B. We'll keep that Pemdas there so you can see it. 7 times 6 plus 4 minus 3. Well, we do have parentheses in this case, so those should be done what? First. What is 6 plus 4? 6 plus 4 is 10. Now, instead of rewriting it, you can do it like this. If you're a neat writer, go ahead and do it like this. If you're not, go ahead and write out 7 times 10 minus 3. But now what we're left with is what I just said, 7 times 10 minus 3. Am I going to do 10 minus 3 first, or am I going to do 7 times 10 first? 7 times 10. Good. 7 times 10 is 70 minus 3, and 70 minus 3 is 67. Okay, challenge yourself. Please do C and D. Don't be scared on C, because 1/2 squared is just 1/2 times 1/2. Go ahead and try C and D. Okay, let's check. So 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. 5 plus 1/4 is just 5 1/4. And letter D, the first thing we do is our exponent. So 3 squared is 9. It's not 3 times 2 is 3 times 3. 6 times 9 is 54. And 5 plus 54 is 59. You guys are doing so great. Let's move on. So we're going to go to 5A and B. Let's look at these. Letter A on number 5. Find the perimeter of a triangle when the 3 sides are 6.3 inches, 8.9 inches, and 6.3 inches. So let's look. First thing I do, always, 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 and I know you've already said it because you guys are amazing, is to draw your shape. And in this case, the shape is a triangle. So it said we have 2 sides that are 6.3 inches and 1 side that is 8.9. So 6.3 inches, 6.3 inches, 8.9 inches. Okay, now we have perimeter. Perimeter with a triangle is just P equals what? A plus B plus C, which means you just add up all the sides. That's all you have to do. So perimeter equals 6.3 plus 6.3 plus 8.9. Now, if you said 8.9 plus 6.3 plus 6.3, or 6.3 plus 8.9 plus 6.3, it's going to be the same either way. Okay, so let's add them up. 6.3, 6.3, 8.9, 5, 1. Don't forget your decimal. 9 and 12 is 21, and you get your perimeter equals 21.5 inches. Is it square inches? Nope, perimeter is just the distance around. Let's move on to B. Find the circumference of a circle when the radius is 6.5 inches. Okay, here's my circle. And I know that my radius is a point from the center drawn to the edge of the circle. My radius is 6.5 inches. Now, what is the formula for the circumference of a circle? Circumference equals, we could either say pi d, but we don't have diameter in this case, or 2 pi r. Circumference equals 2 times pi is 3.14 times our radius in this case, which is 6.5. Now, you can do this one of 2 ways. You can do 2 times 3.14, which is 6.28, which I've said in past lessons, or you can do 2 times 6.5, which is 13, and multiply that by 3.14. Or you could do 3.14 times 6.5 and then multiply that by 2. I actually would prefer, and this is totally up to you, but I'm going to prefer to do 2 times 6.5, which I know is 13, and I'm going to do 3.14 times 13. Go ahead and do that multiplying. Check yours with mine to see what you get. Okay, did you get 40.82 inches? I hope you did. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm gonna assign your assignment. You guys are doing really great with turning in your assignments to Google Classroom. Remember, do them on paper, then go into Google Classroom and just record your answers on the assessment. The assessment is just, or the assignment, is just so that I can see that you're actually doing your work. Do your lesson first. Do the assignment first. Then go into Google Classroom. Do not go into Google Classroom before you've worked them out. And you have two chances. You can do it one time. Then I will write back to you and say, hey, could you please fix this one, this one, this one, this one, or just this one, or great job, you don't have to fix any. And then you can resubmit it another time. So 2 times total, okay? So tonight your assignment is, let's see here. I want to look here because I want to make sure I am giving you, and guys, so that you know, so that you are ready, you have a, what page is this? You have a test. Yes, I said test on, this is not page 139, 140. Lesson 139, okay, so we're on lesson 139. And you have a test on Thursday. You have a test on Thursday. So I know at the beginning of this lesson, I said page 139, 140. It is not. I'll have to remind myself and write that down to remind you guys. So all that being said, your equation, or your, I can't even speak now, your assignment for tonight is, and all that I was just looking at letter A. So your assignment is letter A, B, C, D, E, H, J, that's 7, and let's do 9A. So you'll have to do diameter, circumference, and area. So it's 3 parts of that. So you have 10 total tonight. Great job, guys. Keep it up. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'll see you later. See you tomorrow. Bye.